Hello everybody and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast, episode number 85. Hello, croeso I podcast rhif 85. My name is Mr. Gareth Evans. Joining me today is Mr. Henry Half a Bottle Cooper.
This is quite a good one.
In reference to the amount of whiskey that you drank on your birthday, right?
Well, it's my birthday. I'm allowed. It was a comment. I put it was my pinned comment on yesterday's video, which, I mean, the news stories were fine. The information was there, so there was stuff to work with. But I wasn't like really bad, but I was a little bit hungover, and I'm old now. I'm 25 now, so.
Oh, come on! Don't even start.
But you've been there. You must know that every year the hangover gets worse. Every time.
Yeah.
It gets harder.
Which is why I quit drinking like 4 years ago, because I'm way too old to be drinking now.
My 21st was night and day. I woke up on the morning after my 21st birthday, and I was like, "Oh, how much longer can I do this? I feel proper shit."
Yeah.
I put away about half a bottle of whiskey. We couldn't go anywhere because the world's fucking locked down still. Although technically now it's not, so maybe I could go somewhere today.
That's true.
So we had like a remote call with some friends, and I mean, I was planning to drink a lot no matter what. I don't know how much anyone else drank, if anything, but I put away half a bottle of whiskey and realised maybe I should just put the whole thing away and not bother doing any work on Wednesday.
Was it a litre bottle, or was it like a 70 centilitre?
Yeah, it was a 70.
So what? Let me ask you this, because this is important. Like, what was your whiskey of choice? Because if it's
it wasn't anything that bad. It was Jack Daniel's, but only
bourbon.
Bourbon Jack Daniel's honey. So even then, it's not.
Or like a sweet bourbon. Wow.
It's because it was on offer. So I was like,
yeah,
I think it was like £16 down from like 20 or something.
Wow.
I can't waste that.
That's true. Jameson's was always my tipple of choice. Good smooth Jameson's, man.
Jameson's is not. Generally, I'll drink Jack because it's there, and it's often on offer because it's like the Rockstar one, so it's like it's popular.
Yeah.
But Jameson's is good.
Did you know Jack Daniel's was Welsh? Did you know that? The OG guy who made Jack Daniel's was Welsh. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Little nugget.
Well, he clearly fucked off to America because he hated it so much.
Well, you say that, but he's a successful Welshman, one among many, I would say.
Okay. Right, should we talk about some video game stuff?
Yeah, well, we've got a huge kind of special this week. Cyberpunk. Everyone's talking about Cyberpunk. There's articles coming out. We're a week away now. As the time of recording, it's the... the 3rd, so it's literally a week away, from my birthday. You've had a birthday week, I'm having a birthday week next week, so Cyberpunk has been talked about. Everyone's jumping on the gravy train, talking about it again, excited. I'm allowing myself to get excited now. I'm at the point where it's not going to be delayed anymore. I know I'm going to be able to play it. I'm not going to die, but hopefully in the next week. There's always a small chance, but I'm probably not going to die. There's a good chance I'm going to be able to play it this time next week. So I'm allowing myself to get excited about it. So therefore, we're going to, no holds barred. We're just going to gush over Cyberpunk 2077 in today's episode, if that's all right by you guys. So that's going to be the main thrust of today's video. General chit chat aside also. And then we'll be taking some questions from the Patreons over on the Discord. And obviously the quiz is part of that too, which is another corker this week. And then after that, we're going to Triggered Fanboy Comment of the Week, or the new segment, which we're going to be called the PGG Fanboy of the Week. So we don't have like a triggered comment, so we're going with the person who's like put a nice comment in for us this week. We're going to trial that, see if it works. It's probably not as exciting as
juicy.
Not as juicy. But you never know, we might find some juicy comments. After that, obviously more comments to read. And then the bad dad joke of the week to finish off. So first up, Henry, there's been some happenings in our gaming setups. There's been some changes, right? I mean, first, I'll tease up first. I mentioned last week I was getting a 3070, which is a new graphics card, so I can ray trace the hell out of Cyberpunk. That arrived last Thursday. And I've been playing it with... a lot of the games. So my first choice was, I want to try out this ray tracing malarkey, see what it's all about. So the only one that I had in my library was Metro Exodus. So I downloaded and played that. I was like, it's all right. I mean, it wasn't one of those games where it was like it's still a couple of years old, right? And the ray tracing isn't great in it. So it was like, why am I playing this game? I'll have to play through it. I might as well play something that I'm going to enjoy more. So I jumped back inside the Outer Worlds because I hadn't completed that. And cranked everything up on Ultra, and I was having a whale of a time with that game. Completed it now. And yeah, again, cemented one of my best games of last year. Definitely. I was hoping to play through it again, but I thought I've only got like a week. Cyberpunk's coming out next week. I don't want to burn myself out on RPG games, first-person RPG games. I'll give it a bit of a rest, I guess, and save my open world capacity for Cyberpunk, I thought. So the other thing that's kind of I've been reflecting on this week is the way that I've changed the way I'm gaming now because of my internet, right? For those of you who aren't aware, I've been the shittest internet for like the longest time, and now I've got pretty much a gigabit internet, and that's completely changed how I game. So if I want to choose to download and install a game, say Game Pass, for example, there's a huge library there that are at my fingertips. 50 gigabytes, it's nothing. It's 20 minutes now. It's a cup of tea now. That's all it is. And I'm like, I want to play that game. I'll do it. And this week, I obviously downloaded and installed Metro Exodus. I dabbled again with Fallout 76. I've installed and played a bit of Wasteland 3. Played Worms WMD on the Discord with EarthwormBen. And I've installed Halo the Master Chief Collection again on the Game Pass. And that's over 100 gigabytes in size. And it was nothing. It was nothing. And in the past, one of those games, well, excluding Worms, would have been an overnight, if not a 24-hour commitment, right? I used to have to commit, like, I want to play this game. This is awesome. I might be able to play it tomorrow if my internet's good. That's the way I used to think about it. And it's turned me into some, I don't know, I feel like I'm playing fast and loose with these games now. I'm just picking them up, 50 gigabytes, 100 gigabytes here and there, just having one night stands or 1 hour stands with these games. I'm a bit loose, fast and loose now. I'm like rediscovering my youth. And it's all down to this internet, right? It's completely changed the way that I consume games. And the Game Pass is part of that too. And I think this is great. I think this has brought me a whole new lease of life. I can just dabble with the game. If I don't like it, I can throw it away, download and install another 100 gigabytes game. It sounds like a bit of a sick brag, and in part it is. But it's opened up a whole new way of gaming now, the Game Pass plus the fast internet. And I think that's, I don't know, it's just something to reflect on and think, technology, this, subscription model, not everyone's into it, but gives you games at your fingertips. And then the new technology with the internet, it's a game changer for me. It really is. So yeah,
I don't understand how anyone can be against the Game Pass or services like it. Really, like it's similar things like Netflix, right? How can you be against it? Because you don't own any of it, and that's fine because you can still go off and buy them. Like I have pretty much every streaming service. I pay for Spotify and Disney Plus. My girlfriend pays for Netflix and Amazon Prime because she does more delivery stuff. We use it for TV as well. But we also buy DVDs all the time, so we still own like hard copies of stuff. Like that's still an option, but you don't have to. Like we could just live with these stream services. Same with Game Pass. If you want to own the game, you can still buy it. But if you want to just have lots of little things and try them all out at once, especially for like Microsoft like exclusives, right? Because I think all of them henceforth are coming there. Game Pass on day one. Yeah, it's insane.
It's a barrier breaker, is what it is. And I think for the gamer like me who doesn't like to commit to paying £50 for a game and then deciding, this is shit, I don't really want, I've wasted my money here or whatever. Like a Game Pass subscription like that, it just lowers the barrier for entry. You can just dabble with games and just play around with them a little bit, and then if you want to play more of it, you stick to it. And I think that's just great. I think the whole thing is fantastic. The bad news is that my subscription runs out on the 12th. So I'm going to have to stop because I bought like 12 months of 12-month pass of like the base Game Pass, and then I upgraded. Metal Shark got me. There's a little deal that you could do, right? If you bought a certain amount of time and then upgraded 1 month of premium, then you'd get like loads of months. So it's like 18 months worth that I had paid for is coming to an end now. So I'm going to have to start paying monthly if I want to continue. So I'm probably going to do that, to be fair, because it is well worth it. But talking of my gaming kind of epiphanies and changing the way that gaming happens for me, Henry, you've got your own new lease of life about to happen, right?
Well, yeah, very much about to. Like, as of recording this podcast, it hasn't happened yet, but as of finishing it, it will have started. So I don't know if you can see in frame, but
it's just not in frame now.
In there,
we believe you.
I'm not picking it up. It's really fucking heavy. Is a monstrous gaming PC, courtesy of, well, partially you for all of my very long and hard work that I've been doing for a long time, and partially the tech genius that is Metal Shark, because he does so much for us.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't really know anything about any of it. Metal Shark has sent me like pages and pages of like, here's like, it's like an FAQ basically. Oh, this is what this does. This is what this does. You can read more about here if you need to.
I love it.
Long story short, plug this in there, and there you go.
So you're embarking on the journey of becoming a PC gamer. You're literally signing up for the PC Master Race. Today, you've got the box in your home, and it's the first time you've owned a PC. And Metal Shark and I have had a bit of back and forth about, just taking in the moment to fit, like he compared you to like Bambi, not knowing, a bit naive, not knowing exactly what. And I was like, you're more like Frodo from Lord of the Rings, doesn't know the power that he's got in his hands, because this setup is a pretty beefy setup, right? For someone who's starting out on the gaming PC.
Oh, hitting the ground
with a 3080. With a 3080 graphics card, and my God, that thing is a beast. And to have that as your first experience PC gaming, I'm hoping you're going to like it. Otherwise, I'm taking the 3080 because I only managed to get a 3070 because of limited stock. So if you don't like it, dude, I will take that off you.
Well, there is no way I won't like it, and if I don't, there's not a chance I'm saying it.
Yeah, So keep it to yourself, because you will get lynched by the community. So I'm really excited for you, dude. I really want you to. I'm really excited for you to get, especially great timing with Cyberpunk coming out next week too. Yeah, and
I've had to cancel 2 separate pre-orders and place a new one.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you want to play it on the best possible machine, and you've got that now. You'll be able to. You're getting a 1440p screen, 32-inch screen as well. So you're going to be able to ray trace at unbound frame rates, like 60 FPS plus on that thing, which is better than any other PlayStation 5, better than what the Xbox Series X new generation consoles, better than any of those can do. So you're set up for at least a good few years of playing the best games on Ultra. I mean, I can play all these games that I've been playing. I can play them all on Ultra settings on my 1440p monitor and 60 plus frames per second. And that's on the graphics card that's one lower to yours. Yours is better than mine, right? So you're going to be blowing the hell out of these games.
I'm quite intimidated by it. Like, there's so much.
There is a lot to learn.
So much power.
But it's about options, right? You've got so many different options at your disposal now, whereas consoles, you just have to do with make do with that. You've got games coming out of your arse now on Steam. You've got indie games, you've got strategy games.
That's always been my biggest, looking at the over the fence at the PC gaming crowd, is just the library of and diversity of something like Steam. If I want to play a fucking awful glitchy hentai game, I now can, and now I can refuse to do that because it's an option I have, and I don't need to look at it.
I was going to ask you what's the first thing you're going to do when you get the game PC set up, and now I think you've answered that, right?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to. I'll see if I can ray trace some anime titties or something.
There you go. So,
but
So is that what you're most excited for? What? No, seriously though, what is your first on the agenda?
So my monitor, which I bought, that's not arriving until next week. So I can either wait until that comes and really, capitalize everything all at once and really go for it. Or I've got this monitor, which I'm currently using, which is just a very, very basic, just external monitor, so we can dual screen. That's literally all it's for. So I could put it in that but it's still, it's just not going to be it. It's not going to be.
And I think you have to though.
Worth it. So I think I'm just going to sit on it for a bit. Wait until Tuesday.
Not sure
if I can bear it. Because that's my only other option, is to use this one, which is functionally fine, but it's not a gaming monitor or anything.
That doesn't matter.
And then break it in, with Cyberpunk, and really, christen it with that game. I mean, it could very easily be awful. Like, it could be really glitchy. I'm foreseeing it's going to have plenty of its own problems.
Cyberpunk, you mean now?
Yeah. Oh yeah, not the PC. Cyberpunk specifically is going to have so many issues at launch, but so did The Witcher 3. So
that's true.
And eventually it got there.
Well,
I'm not justifying launching like that, but just worth remembering.
So I guess that kind of leads us naturally onto Cyberpunk, and it being just 7 days away. It is one of the games of the generation. I know it's kind of next generation now. Will it be remembered at the end of the generation? I don't know. One of the games of the decade. I know, a new decade as well. Games of the year, that's for sure. I mean, it's one of the most anticipated games for a long, long time.
Yeah, based on anticipation alone. Like, we don't know how it's going to play. We don't have it. We didn't get any review codes or anything. Not through lack of trying. But for sheer hype, it's worth mentioning. Like, it has its place in history already, and it's not even out yet.
But not only that, I mean, everyone who's played it, who's had previews, had hands-on with it, there's been many outlets who have had 16 hours on the game now. Not one of them have much negative to say about it, and that speaks volumes.
Yeah. I mean, you can always argue, oh, it's the bloody games journalists, they're just brown-nosing or whatever, and I'm like, all right, yeah. But at the moment, things are looking positive. I mean,
I guess I'm a little bit skeptical, because a lot of them were the same with Red Dead Redemption 2, and I see a lot of parallels with that game, Red Dead Redemption 2, and I didn't really connect with that game. It was too slow for me. It just, I mean, it's a great game. You just have to look at it to know that it's a great game, but there was something on the it just didn't connect. In a gamer, it didn't appeal to my inner gamer. So yeah, I'm still a little bit hesitant. But then again, Cyberpunk is different. So I've been thinking about the things that I'm most looking forward to in the game. So how about yourself? I mean, there's a lot. There's so much to it. We could talk about everything that's in the game until the cows come home. We don't really want to go over that. A lot of people are covering that type of stuff now. But what for you personally are you most looking forward to about Cyberpunk?
Well, so CD Projekt are really good at role-playing experiences, right? So in The Witcher, you play as one character, Geralt, who has his own backstory and stuff, but you can play him more or less however you want. With this, because it's actually a much broader character, you're called V and you're a mercenary, but beyond that, you get way more control over their backstory and stuff, and who they are.
The character creator, you get to make your own face or whatever.
A face you'll never see because it's first person.
Make your own junk as well.
I'm still gonna spend. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm picking the biggest wang you can get.
Super wang.
Yeah,
super.
But that's what I'm looking forward to, is customizing my penis and role playing, like, to the maximum of just not like, I often fall into the trap of if I'm playing an RPG. Oh, I'll just do what I would do, but I kind of want to play it more like. Yeah. From a perspective of this is their own character and how would they behave in this kind of scenario. So
there's three starting classes, right? Or you can be a nomad, you can be a what do they call them?
Street kid,
or a corpo. So all three very different backgrounds. Nomad is someone who lives out in the wastelands or whatever, comes to the city, starts a new life there. The street kid is someone who's grown up on the streets, has seen, lived in poverty or whatever, a bit streetwise. And there's the corpo, who is basically worked for one of the big organizations. So you're a bit used to the lavish lifestyle, and then you went to the mercenary job place. So which one are you going to choose, and why?
Well, this kind of game, it encourages multiple playthroughs. So ideally, I'd do that. But my first one is Nomad, then Street Kid, then Corpo. Nomad, I just feel like I want to be that like Mad Max kind of vibe, like lawlessness in the wasteland, and then you're coming into this, crazy over-the-top sci-fi city, and it's kind of fish out of water in that respect, because each of these classes, they open up different options for dialogue, but also different quests. So they are all very different. So I think being someone from outside the city should give him really an interesting insight into how everything works.
Yeah. In terms of, I think I'm going to go with Street Kid to begin. I was thinking, but I was umming and ahhing between Street Kid and Corpo, but I don't know. I just don't want to be that entitled Corpo rich kid. It isn't really.
That'll be my evil run.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, you are free to make your own decisions and to be the person you want. Be the character, play the character the way you want to. So you don't have to have the same ideals as the corporations or whatever. You can play it. Mm-hmm. You can sympathise with whatever faction you want. So I think I'm gonna start with Street Kid and see where it goes from there. So in terms of what I'm most looking forward to, there's just a whole ream of things, right? And everything I hear about and everything I see about it makes me that much more excited. Which is, it's not because I love CD Projekt Red's previous games. I've played Witcher 3 numerous times. I've said it before. I'm not really connected with it. It doesn't really connect with me. However, there's so much more to Cyberpunk that connects with me already, having just looked at it. Right? It's the setting. It's the sci-fi futuristic setting. I love that genre. I've always loved sci-fi. Sci-fi. Lots of tech, futuristic tech setting, and that ticks that box. It ticks the first-person box for me. First-person games are my bread and butter. I've played them my whole life. I've been a PC gamer majority of my life now. First-person is what I would choose. RPG as well. RPG is just the games that I love the most, and it's the proper RPG. And I saw that it had the same kind of progression in terms of your skills as Skyrim, as in the more you use something, the more you do something, the better you get at it. So if you've got a handgun, you shoot your gun more often, then you get better at it. Like you do in Skyrim. It's the best RPG leveling system. It's not an arbitrary system. Like you get to allocate points to upgrade your skills. It's like, no, I want to feel like I've earned it, not just arbitrarily. Like, I've got this big case of 6 points now. I'm gonna make myself better at shooting guns. That's not how it works in real life. The more you do something, the more you should be, the better you get at it. And I love that because it
and you can ignore the stuff you don't use. Like if you never use handguns, then they're not going to upgrade, and the stuff you do use will be better.
So in terms of like cutting down to the biggest, because I could go on forever about what I'm most looking forward to, but those are the biggest things that I'm looking forward to, that's for sure. And just the world, right? You just have to look at it. It's literally the best looking game world that I've ever seen, and I can't wait to get stuck into it. Just a thought of having just this huge city, quite compact, and just being able to explore, and just not taking 30 minutes or 10 minutes to go on your horse from one settlement to another before you get something else exciting. Or like, oh, there's a deer running around. That's exciting. Or there's a stranger I got to go and talk to, like 50 meters down the way. No, everything's there. Everything's bright. Everything's shiny. Everything's in your face, and it's maybe on the point of being overwhelming, but it's all there. I'm just really looking forward to being in that world. Like I said, this was an episode about us gushing over Cyberpunk. I did warn you guys.
This is heavily biased. Like, don't mistake that. We're going to be upfront with that. But yeah, like the world, that's exactly what I like. Like open world games, there's so many like Ubisoft-y bad ones that are just full of shit. But fundamentally, I still really, really like open world games because it's a level of freedom that you just can't get in linear games. Linear games do certainly have their place. The best example of that are like Naughty Dog games, who are really good at focused linear things, regardless of your opinion on like The Last of Us or something. But something so broad and so open with so many options, like in your character and how you want to play them and how you want to interact with people and the items you use or the weapons you use and the skills you work towards. All of that just sounds like such an incredible playground that every game tries, and every game kind of overpromises it, and Cyberpunk could very easily fail to reach those expectations and meet those promises. Yeah. But it certainly looks the closest out of every other one that has given it a go.
I think I'm hoping that Cyberpunk crafts the new niche in gaming, right? I think at the moment, you mentioned a Ubisoft open world game just then, and these are the most consumed AAA games, the open world action, third-person action games. This is, and a lot of people are saying, Cyberpunk is just a futuristic Grand Theft Auto, and I think that people's expectations might be a bit misled by that,
I
right?
hate that take. I hate seeing it because it comes up every now and then. It's, oh, it's just sci-fi GTA. I'm like, you are so fucking wrong.
And this is where I'm kind of questioning what people. I'm not talking about people who were informed like us, people who like live and breathe Cyberpunk going in, people who've informed themselves, watched the Nightwire on the streams and stuff like that. I'm talking about your general just Assassin's Creed player who gets one every year. It's like, yeah, this is awesome. Assassin's Creed are awesome. Get it every year. And those type of less informed gamers, should we say, casuals, we could call them. What are they expecting from the game? Because if they are expecting a third-person open-world game and the likes of GTA, future GTA, or just another Assassin's Creed, but set in the future, I think they're going to be their expectations are going to be dashed pretty early on. And for example, to illustrate it, carjacking in Cyberpunk 2077, you can't do that until you unlock a skill to be able to do that. Right, you can't just walk up to any car and carjack it, because this is an RPG. You have to earn your right to be able to do stuff in the world.
Well, that's one thing I really like about it as well. Like, skill upgrades are something that happens in RPGs, and it's a genre convention, which it's one of the selling points of the genre, because you can build your character how you want to. But in Cyberpunk, it's all justified in the story itself, because if you get an upgrade for your character, that's actually an upgrade you get on your body. Like I think it's one you're meant to get quite early on, to see how much ammo you have left at a given time, or like basically a heads-up display, you get an upgrade on your hand, which then like communicates with the gun or something like that. Just like this hijacking thing, you'll get an implant or some cybernetic gadget which can allow you to do that, which I think is really cool. It's one of those stories where everything about the gameplay is justified by story, and I think that's something games are getting better at, but games need to justify why they're a game, not why they're a movie. This is why Cyberpunk is a game and not a movie.
Everything to make sense within the universe, right? Everything to be coherent. Talking of expectations, PC Gamer stated in their article, having played 15 hours in a preview of Cyberpunk, they said, quote, "The game's marketing has, understandably, focused on the louder, more aggressive side of the game, which has painted a somewhat inaccurate picture of it. Cyberpunk 2077 isn't all noise, future slang, extreme violence, and fluorescent yellow. It has quiet, touching moments of warmth too." So in terms of, he's indicating that the marketing there is trying to sell it a certain way, which is what might be pitting people's expectations in one direction, and then they might be quashed by the fact that this isn't the game that they've been expecting. And I remember going into Red Dead Redemption 2, where everyone was the journalists were saying at the very least that everyone's expecting the GTA, but in Wild West GTA. And then some of the behind closed doors previews where journalists or people were subject to watching some gameplay. A lot of journalists coming out of that, were saying that the game was boring, that it put them to sleep, and that the game was slow. And lo and behold, it turned out that, for me, at the very least, that's kind of how it panned out. So, like I said, there's a couple of parallels here with Red Dead Redemption 2, and for me, at the very least, I don't know if it's the same for you, but.
Well, like one of my friends messaged our group chat recently. I think they were asking, am I getting the PS5 or something? And I said, no, there's not. I don't think there's any point. There's nothing that I can't get somewhere else. Or like once God of War comes out, then I might get one, like especially for that type of thing. I mean, talking about a bit of a chat about gaming, but none of them are. I hate this sort of terminology, but like hardcore gamers. Like
Let's call them educated gamers.
Yeah, he plays like Ghost of Tsushima. He really really enjoyed Red Dead. But he's not like a Call of Duty person, really, right? Or a FIFA. He's not one of them, but he plays what he plays, but it's not like a massive hobby. And he said, "Oh, I'm really looking forward to Cyberpunk," and I was like, "Me too, like awesome." But I just need to make sure, like this isn't GTA, right? You know what it is. But he one of his favorite games ever is Oblivion and Skyrim. So I'm like, well, okay, so you will like it then. You will still like it, even if you do think it's GTA sci-fi. You might then be pleasantly surprised to find that it's actually a massive RPG where you're not shooting people like all the fucking time. But I think there is a serious segment of uninformed people who will just see it on a shelf, be like, oh, like sci-fi thing, oh, they're gonna go around shoot people, that sounds fun, and then they're gonna spend most of their game like talking to people and making dialogue options and wasting time in skill progression, that sort of shit, when maybe that's not what they're after. But I don't know if you can really fault CD Projekt's marketing team for that, because I mean, like, it makes sense to promote the, like, big, you know,
shinier aspects
stuff,
of the game.
But maybe if they did more, like, long play uncut sequences of gameplay, because they haven't done really many of them apart from the first one, I think. They're normally, like, cut up, like edited, sliced up sequences rather than, you know, a long play of a whole quest, so to speak.
I mean, I don't think that there's enough information out there generated by CD Projekt Red to inform people who want to know about the game what it's going to be like. I don't think this is misleading at all, because they've shown so many previews, so many people have hands-on with it. It's not like they're carefully controlling what's being put out there to the media and giving a false impression of what the game's going to play like. That's not the case at all. I'm not sure whether it's a valid point by the PC Gamer. I don't know the guy who wrote it, but
well, even they said the marketing has understandably focused on the loud blah 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 blah, painted a somewhat inaccurate picture, and I guess you could certainly argue it is a somewhat inaccurate picture, but that's just because it's like this much of the picture when there's all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, there you go. So in terms of hype, I mean, maybe it's just my observation of this situation. Maybe I'm completely wrong.Maybe everyone across the board is going to love it, but I strongly expect that a lot of people are just going to think it's trash because it's just not as accessible as some other games that they're expecting, and their expectations might be just way off. And I think that, you know, if you're educating yourself going into the game, that's going to be avoided straight away. But I don't know. I can't help but expect the worst out of people, especially the people who don't play a lot. And
the people who are the kind of people who are going to be watching channels like ours or others who cover this sort of thing, they're going to be the people who are, you know, accurately informed about this is an RPG / first-person shooter, not first-person shooter / RPG, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I
feel like it's going to be the people, again, casuals who just see a trailer on TV, or like one of the flashy CGI ones, or the one with Keanu in it.
Yeah.
And they'll pick it up and be like, oh, cool. And then, you know.
I think the biggest bone of contention for a lot of people will be that it's first person only. And I think to understand what they're trying to achieve with that, and to the fact that they want people to feel like the character. The city is small, it's confined, it's not like an open world, there's not like huge open spaces, it's more like on top of you, and they want you to see through the eyes of V. They want you to be and inhabit and embody V, and they want things to happen to you, and they want you to feel like V, and that's why they want you to be that person. And this is a game development choice. This isn't them not deciding not to do third person because they don't want you to have fun in third person. They want you to experience the game in a certain way. And I think that a lot of people who will criticize it for not being first person just won't understand what they're trying to get out with the game. And I think that's where a lot of the noise around launch will be, personally.
Yeah, like, I totally agree. They've explicitly said they believe in their design process that creating it in a first-person perspective makes a more immersive experience. Personally, I've said this a lot, I generally prefer third-person games. I like to be able to see my character, especially if I can create them like I can in this. But I'm not going to complain, because that's what they want to do. It's the way they want to create their game and their art. But at the same time, I've also said several times, I really wouldn't be surprised if they did whack in a third-person mode sometime in, I don't know, like the next year or so, 2 years. Like GTA did with adding in first-person for the next-gen upgrade. Like, if they came out and were like, for the PS5 version, because that doesn't have a release date yet, the PS5 and Xbox Series X, let's just fucking say the long name, those versions aren't coming out yet. You can play it through backwards compatibility on them, but it's the old last gen version. Once the new gen version proper comes out, I could fully see them being like, there's new features, like some extra bits of DLC that they'll all launch at the same time, and a third person mode.
I would be surprised. I really would be surprised, given how they've pitched it, how they've defended the reason why it's first person. Having used those reasons, I think to go third person or allow third person after that, I guess they could say that they're just giving the fans what they want.
But as an extra option.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against this so much. I just don't think, given the reason that they've stated, I just don't think that would be coherent. I think they'd be standing on their own toes, really, making that decision.
True, but I think CDPR are so proud to be the bastion of pro-consumer companies that I wouldn't be surprised if they put it in just because people are asking for it.
Yeah, it's like that debate around like the Dark Souls or Sekiro type of games. It's like, why don't you give people an easy mode so more people can enjoy it? Well, it's the way the game is supposed to be played, and it's the artistic vision. You have to play it this way. It's like, well, give people more options, and more people can enjoy your game. It's the same with Cyberpunk.
It's very much up to them. Yeah, it's very very much up to them. And again, with the core Souls fan base, most of them are like, don't put an easy mode in because it should be played this way. Whereas I think
get good scrub.
That crowd. Whereas the core Cyberpunk audience, I don't think gives as much of a shit about it being first person only. Because again, if they do add a third person, it's not going to be only third person from then on. It's just an extra option. Much like if they did add an easy mode in a Souls game, it would be an option. But also, it's down to them, and you can't disparage them either way because it's their creative choice. Yeah, and maybe it's going to be a real fucking pain in the arse. Maybe it's really really hard to do on a game of this scale.
Yeah, I mean, there might be problems with the camera and stuff like that, and the animation of the character, which they haven't had to do because they don't need to worry about it. Yeah, and having small spaces, going through small spaces like corridors and in big city buildings, it might be difficult, just technically.
I don't know if this is just me, and I feel like I may have talked about this before, but the first thing I do in any first-person game is immediately look down and see if I have legs.
Yeah,
and I think they might have already come out and say that, like previous previews and stuff about Cyberpunk, but that will be the very, very first action I take in gameplay after generating my character will be to see if I have legs.
You also want to widen your field of view, especially with a huge monitor and the option to do that. You want to go on that slider and do it all the way to the top. And if it makes you feel a little bit nauseous, then just crank it down a little bit. But that's my pro PC gamer tip for you.
Pro gamer.
Pro PC gamer tip for you.
The hardest part is going to be finding like a space to make it fit. This desk it's not the biggest.
Wow, of all the problems,
upgrade the desk.
First world problems, man. Right? They give me this PC, I don't even know where to put it. God damn it.
Well, this is a very small room. Like there's stuff everywhere on the desk and either side of it, so it's going to be an afternoon of puzzle solving.
I'm sure you can figure out, Henry. You're a mature man now. You're 25 years old. I'm sure you can figure that one out. Upgrade your intellect at the same time. So that's pretty much it for prepared notes for Cyberpunk. I'm glancing over some of the other articles that have been read. Are you interested in a photo mode? That kind of thing that you do? Because that's
I actually do really enjoy photo modes, mainly because you can take cool pictures and stuff, but I like using it to look at assets, like to look at your character and just get a feel of the world. Normally, it's in the first few hours, I'll be like, oh, look at the detail on this guy's face. But yeah, I like photo modes. I think they're quite a cool little extra addition, and they're becoming more common now.
Yeah. I think that's it. In terms of Cyberpunk, we talk about it all day, but I think we'll have to move on. That's our gushing of Cyberpunk out of the way. Unless you got anything else that you did want to discuss, we can move on to the next segment, which is the community. Let's roll with it. Community segment. So, this is this is where we read out some questions. Before I do that, though, I do like to mention people who have put their hands in their pocket to support the channel over the last week, and the people who have increased their pledges. There's two people. Marcus Hicks has increased his pledge from $5 to $10. Oh my God! Thanks very much, Mr. Hicks. Appreciate that, dude. Neil Roberts is another one, done exactly the same, increased from $5 a month to $10 per month. Every single dollar of donation really helps us out because we are struggling to pay the bills with the revenue that YouTube gives us for the AdSense. So the patrons and the YouTube memberships as well really make a difference to enable us to continue making this content. So if you do enjoy our content and you want to see us continue, head over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. You get early access to the podcast by a couple of days. You also get to ask us questions, and you get to join the Discord community and have a chat with us. You can do that on Patreon as well as on YouTube memberships. And like I said, every single dollar helps. It really helps, and we really appreciate it. So please support the channel if you like us. And with that said, let's move on to the questions this week. The first one is the quiz of the week. However, it's usually by Mr. Metal Shark, but this time Mr. EarthwormBen has stepped up to the plate, and it's his quiz this week, but it's exactly the same format, and it's Who Wants to Be a Gaming Know-It-All. So, Henry, it's you to be the contestant in this week's Who Wants to Be a Gaming Know-It-All, and I will read the intro. Welcome, one and all, to this week's Who Wants to Be a Gaming Know-It-All, featuring your host, that's me, Gareth Evans, and this week's contender, Mr. Henry Half a Bottle Cooper. Hooray! High energy applause, please. Thank you very much. With one of the biggest games of the year releasing in the next week on the 10th of December, my birthday, he's written it in first person. Brilliant. This quiz has been focused around the genre that inspired not only the role-playing game, but the game of the genre of the same name. Of course, we talk about Cyberpunk, which is very apt because this is a Cyberpunk special podcast. All right, then. Let's go to question number 1. Henry, if you're ready, I will read. The original film, Westworld, had a plot by which a theme park where androids that are indistinguishable from humans end up malfunctioning and killing guests. What year was the film released in? Is it A, 1969, B, 1973, C, 1984, or D, 1991? You have 3 lifelines. You can 50-50. You can ask me, or you can Google up to a 3-word phrase.
Right, so I know Westworld, they did like a remake, sequel, reboot TV series recently, didn't they? Which is meant to be very good, but I haven't watched it. But that was like within the last few years, and the original I know is quite old.
The original
and
film.
It looks old. Like,
yeah,
I don't think it's 1969 old. So my instinct is 1973 because there's a turning point. As soon as things hit the 80s, something about audio quality just goes through the roof. Someone must have invented something. I don't know anything about it, but I want to say B, 1973.
And the correct answer is B, 1973. Correct.
Yes.
That's 1 from 1. Well done, Henry, for stabbing the dark there. That was a good...
Yeah, it really was.
Question number 2. Johnny Silverhand is not the first time Keanu Reeves has been in a cyberpunk role or played a guy named Johnny. However, when has he done both before in a film role? Is A, Constantine, B, Point Break, C, Johnny Mnemonic, or D, John Wick?
Right, let me just check the exact wording of this question, because I think this might be a trick question. When has he done both before in a film role? So
when has he played
playing
Johnny?
a character called Johnny and a cyberpunk sci-fi kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he's John Constantine in Constantine, who is he's a demon hunter based on a DC comic book. Point Break, he's Johnny Utah, which is a rookie FBI agent. Fucking love Point Break. It's a brilliant.
Yeah, it's good.
Johnny Mnemonic, which I'm pretty sure is the cyberpunk one, and I haven't seen that one, but I'm quite sure that's it. And John Wick, he is a sharp-dressed assassin. So I think it's C, Johnny Mnemonic.
Is correct, but it put me off because it says B, Johnny Mnemonic in the answer. The answer is C, Johnny Mnemonic. But yeah, so that's 2 out of 2.
Johnny Utah is definitely not a cyberpunk character.
So that's 2 from 2. Question number 3. Blade Runner took a potential look at the cities of the future and the dystopian future they could hold. What city is Blade Runner set in? Is it A, Los Angeles, B, Chicago, C, San Diego, or D, San Francisco?
I've seen Blade Runner once, and it was years ago, and I didn't like it. I think it's really overrated.
Did you just say that? Wow.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It's quite slow, isn't it?
It's one of the classic movies that I think is overrated because I think other movies have come along and done it better.
Yeah.
I think Los Angeles is too easy. Like that's the everything's in LA. Everything's in LA all the time. I don't think it's Chicago because I do have a feeling that it's on the West Coast. But then again, that's the only one that isn't. So maybe that's a reason to buy it. San Diego or San Francisco. San Francisco that's the one with all the hills, right? I think San Francisco is the hilly one. I don't remember the cityscape being particularly hilly, but this is only question 3, so I don't want to use a lifeline yet. But I think I'm going to have a go with San Diego.
San Diego is your answer. The actual answer is Los Angeles.
No, it's always fucking Los Angeles.
You said it yourself. It's always Los Angeles.
Always
and
Los
then you went with
Angeles.
something else. My goodness me. So that's
like, I'm not too mad about being wrong about that one because in a roundabout way, I'm right in the wrong way.
I'm sure that makes sense in your head.
It's not good enough to get a point, but...
All right, so that's 2 from 3. Question number 4. In the Cyberpunk game by Mike Pondsmith, what has always been a core concept when creating your character? A, rule of respect. B, rule of cool. C, rule of cash. D, rule of authority.
I'm quite sure it's the rule of cool. I think. Because Cyberpunk is all about...
Is that not a contradiction? I'm sure it's this cool, I think.
Well, yeah, perhaps. But it's because Cyberpunk's all about style over substance. It's about looking cool. It doesn't really matter about actually being functional. So yeah, I'll go B, rule of cool.
It's good logic. And it's correct. B, rule of cool.
And it sounds good.
Rule
like
of cool.
It's a nice mantra
Cool.
to be able to say.
Cool is one of your core attributes in the game, right? There's 5 of them. So being cool, your level of cool.
It's like strength, intelligence,
and cool. Okay, so that's 3 from 4 so far. Question number 5 next. What Stephen King film adaptation was also used to help market American Gladiators? A, The Shining. B, The Dead Zone. C, Maximum Overdrive. Or D, The Running Man.
I've seen 2 of those. I've seen The Shining, and that's that's in the hotel, and it's serial killer thriller psychological thing. Not seen The Dead Zone, not seen Maximum Overdrive, and I have seen The Running Man. The Running Man is kind of a game show. So that leads me to kind of think maybe Gladiators took something from it. It's just a brutally violent dystopian game show. Arnold is in it,
and it's great.
Running Man is brilliant. I don't know anything about The Dead Zone or Maximum Overdrive. And Maximum Overdrive sounds like a big, like, alpha bro gladiator kind of thing. But Gladiators is a little before my time. My brothers loved it and watched it, but it's just before me.
Gladiators.
I know the theme, but I never watched it.
If you weren't a fan of Jet, then you just weren't alive. Do you know what I mean? Jet was
exactly. Yeah, I mean I know him by name, but I have no idea who he is because I missed
Jet,
the show.
Jet was one of the women. It was Jet, Lightning, and then the best one was Wolf, the guy. He was the fun because he was the old guy. But the Jet and Lightning, man. I mean, bringing back my youthful.
I mean, maybe obsessions. I should just Google it just to see them. I'll go. I'll take a guess with The Running Man.
Is the correct answer. Only loosely based on the novel. It is based in 2019 in a totalitarian police state future. Well, congratulations.
Something we'll no doubt be living in no time.
Yeah. that was my guess too. So well done. 4 from 5 so far. Question number 6. The cult cyberpunk anime Akira is set 31 years after a war. Although, which exact war? Was it A, Asian nuclear war, B, Second Corporate War, C, Third World War, or D, Fourth Gulf War?
The Second Corporate War, that's a cyberpunk thing, like in the cyberpunk game universe, in the
Corporate Wars,
the RPG game, the tabletop game.
Yeah.
Asian nuclear war is certainly a possibility. I've not seen Akira, but I'm like a little bit familiar with it. I've always wanted to watch it, but I never got around to it. It looks really cool. Asian nuclear war is certainly a possibility because Akira is set in Neo Tokyo, I think, or something like. Well, it's Japanese anime anyway. So, Third World War. I mean, it's so much stuff is after the Third World War because it's quite an easy, target for something.
Yeah.
Fourth Gulf War. I'm not even sure how many Gulf Wars there have been. I'm not particularly educated on that one.
Been one, haven't there?
Let's go Asian nuclear war. That's the one that rings true for me the most.
You're going to answer Asian nuclear war?
Let's do it.
Now that it's locked in, unfortunately, it's the wrong answer. The correct answer is the Third World War. You've had 6 questions. You've not used a single lifeline, and you've got 2 wrong. Maybe you're going about it wrong.
But now
way.
I get a lifeline for each thing going forward, I think.
Well, no, you got 4 left.
Oh, no, yeah, 4 left.
4 left. So you've got 4 correct answers from 6 so far. You've still got 3 lifelines. And the next up, we've got question number 7. In The Fifth Element, what is Corbin Dallas's job as he is first introduced in the film? Is it A, police officer, B, fast food cook, C, politician, or D, taxi driver?
Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen The Fifth Element. I am quite sure Corbin Dallas is Bruce Willis's character, and I think he's a taxi driver. But I can't remember if Corbin Dallas is definitely Bruce Willis's character and not somebody else. But who else would it be? The default would be that you'd go for the main character. It's definitely not Lilu, because she's like a alien thing. I can't really remember. Something strange. I reckon he's a taxi driver.
Is that your final answer?
Let's do it.
It is the correct answer, and it was an answer that I knew too, because she falls through the roof of his taxi while she's driving.
Yes,
right?
that's it. Yeah. It's a flying taxi, isn't it?
Yeah. So, correct. That is 5 correct answers from 7 so far. 3 questions left, 3 lifelines left. This is question 8. In the film series The Matrix, all scenes from within the Matrix were tinted, although what colour? This is like a filter they put over the screen. Was it A, brown, B, green, C, grey, or D, blue?
I'm quite confident in the answer to this one because it's one of those like fun facts because you don't necessarily notice it when you first watch it. The Matrix is one colour, then the real world is different. And the Matrix, I'm quite sure, is green because the code's green, so everything in the Matrix is green. And then when you're watching it, you kind of get a feeling that there's something not quite right in each world. I think it's really awesome, change, but not everyone notices it. And then once you do, you're like, oh, fuck yeah, look at that. So, green.
Is the correct answer. Well done. Without using a lifeline, we're up to question number 9 next. You do have 6 correct answers from 8. So question number 9 is as follows. In William Gibson's cult novel Neuromancer, what profession is the protagonist Henry Case? Is he A, techie, B, hacker, C, street samurai, or D, solo?
I have no idea. All I know is that those are like character builds for Cyberpunk. I know William Gibson is widely credited with creating the Cyberpunk genre. Other than that, I have no idea. So it's a lifeline time. What are my options? 50-50. Is it Google? To type the answer, or are we doing ask Alexa?
Oh, whatever.
Oh, okay. 50-50 won't help because it will just give me 2
random
answers. I still don't know which one's which. What was my third lifeline? Ask you. I don't imagine you know too much about this one, if I'm honest. Right, so I can do a 3-word Google search, right?
Yeah, that works.
So what would I search? Neuromancer, Henry Case. That's 3 words, and surely that would come up as a Wikipedia article, and I'll probably get his name in the first paragraph. Right? Am I allowed to click on web pages and stuff?
I mean, I don't know. It says if you Google Neuromancer Henry Case, right, 3rd response down, and it's there in the kind of short excerpt from the website.
Okay, so that's fine then. Neuromancer Henry Case is definitely spelled that way, right? Yes. Go. Let's have a look. Case, Henry Dorset Case, is the protagonist of Neuromancer, William Gibson's first novel, and first installment of the Sprawl trilogy as anti-hero. Case is ...
It's the third one down.
Helping William Gibson fandom.
It's the third one
the Wikipedia page. He's a hustler, computer hacker, once talented computer hacker. So I guess his job is a hacker, or his profession
is correct. Because Wikipedia told you. So that is the 9th question answered, and you've got 7 from 9, and we are up to question number 10. You've got 2 lifelines. You can ask me, or you can 50-50. What is Judge Dredd's first name? A, Jonathan, B, Judge, C, Joseph, or D, George?
Again, I have no idea what his real name is, and I actually hope it's Judge. Can I use my 50-50 because I can?
Absolutely. You're left with A, Jonathan, or C, Joseph.
Oh, not Judge. Bollocks. I mean, I could ask you as my final lifeline, but I don't imagine you know this one either. Fuck it. What do you think? I might as well use the lifeline.
I wasn't going to get. You might as well use it. I wasn't going to give you any indication whether I knew or not. I think Judge Joseph Dredd, Judge Jonathan Dredd. I think Judge Joseph Dredd. I could be either of those, to be honest.
Because every fictional character is called John. All of them are.
My first inclination was Jonathan Dredd, but Joseph Dredd. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I thought not. Fuck it. Let's go for Jonathan. John O'Dredd.
John Dredd is the incorrect answer. The answer is Joseph Dredd.
Well.
So there you go.
Shot in the dark. 2 lifelines didn't help.
There you go. So the final score from this week's quiz, Henry, you scored a 7 out of 10. Congratulations, sir.
That's a reasonable score. That's a wait on sale kind of game. You know, it's not too bad. It's not great.
Pretty good. It's not too bad.
It's fine. You might have a bit of fun. It's not going to win a Game of the Year award or anything.
I would just like to take this opportunity to thank EarthwormBen for the effort that's gone into this quiz. Hopefully he didn't step on Metal Shark's toes. I'm sure it was all worked out behind the scenes, but we really do appreciate the effort that goes onto the quizzes, whether it's Metal Shark or EarthwormBen. EarthwormBen this week, huge thank you. We really appreciate it because it's one of my favourite segments in the podcast. I'll be honest. It's always very entertaining.
And we don't have to do any work to create it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's great. No research necessary. Thanks a lot. So let's move on to the questions then. And Henry, would you like to read the...
Yeah, so this is a question from EarthwormBen, so straight after the quiz. So, Gaz and Henry crucified the Game Awards in their predictions last week, and it seems as if their predictions came true yet at the Golden Joysticks. Worse still, The Last of Us 2 won awards in which it was very poor in, and lost those in which many have said its strongest points, such as the acting of the characters. What are your takes on this? So, I think it got 5 Game of the Year awards. So I did have. I reported it this week as well, but I can't remember.
It won Best Storytelling. It won Best Visual Design. It won Best Audio. It won PlayStation Game of the Year, and it won Ultimate Game of the Year.
And it got not the game, but Naughty Dog got Studio of the Year or something, whatever that.
Oh yeah, Studio of the Year,
something like that. So 6 awards to that studio. I think it's ridiculous. I think the fact that it didn't win best acting, it went for either mild spoilers. There you go. There's your warning. Ellie or Abby with Ashley Johnson or Laura Bailey. It went to the girl who played Kamala Khan in the Marvel game. Yeah, I can't remember what her name is. She's great and all. Like she's good, but she's not. Like Ellie or Abby good, like regardless of what you think of the game, those performances are like incredible. So I think that's really weird. Storytelling, it's ambitious, which is good, and it tries some new things by forcing you to walk in the shoes of the person you hate, but I don't think it tells it in the best way. So storytelling, I don't think it should win that award personally.
I mean, bravery award. If there was a bravery award, you'd give it to Last of Us 2. You wouldn't give it storytelling, though.
Yeah, and there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity.
Exactly. Yeah. So the bravery / stupidity award.
And I'm pretty sure golden joysticks are entirely user voted. I don't think they have any critics on there, like a panel or anything like that. I might be wrong there, but it's certainly more user based than, say, the Game Awards are.
So there you go. Yeah. There was one other one that I was kind of bugged by. What else did it win? So it won Ultimate Game of the Year, PlayStation Game of the Year, Best Audio, Best Visual Design.
Right. Audio, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's probably fine, because when you shoot people in the face, there's what I would imagine a realistic sound is. I've never shot someone in the face, but I imagine that's probably quite on it. Visual design, or graphics, or whatever it was called, that's fine. Like, it's fine. But it looks really good. It does look really good, but I don't think there's as much creativity in it, because there's a lot of games that also look really, really good for like raw fidelity and people looking like real people. Personally, I would have still given it to something like Ghost or Hades, but
there you go.
That's just
these awards don't really mean much, but
no,
yeah, I mean,
they don't.
It's horses for courses, isn't it? It's
Oh, I know what I was going to say. What I originally was going to say. The fact that Naughty Dog got Best Studio, even though they were Public Enemy #1 a few months ago for Crunch Culture, is hilarious to me.
That is true.
Like, I'm not. That's not a comment on whether or not I believe the Crunch or approve of it or anything. That's irrelevant. But public discourse around it, they got so much flack on Twitter and stuff, and maybe this is exemplary of how Twitter means nothing, which I think is quite fair to say. But so you're lambasted in the media for having Crunch Culture, and then you win Best Studio of the Year. Like, okay,
that's it. All right, thanks for the question, EarthwormBen. Moving on to the next question, which is another EarthwormBen question. I think this is the last EarthwormBen question, but thanks for the questions anyway. Immortal Phoenix Rising should be out of the time you read this. However, I'm currently looking at it and thinking, that's looking like a good game. Yeah, but the word Ubisoft keeps running my mind. And the question is, are there any devs that you just won't take a risk on despite how good a game looks? Even through previews, etc., until you get somebody you trust doing a thorough playthrough of the game. Honestly, Valhalla looked fun, but time is a commodity that I wouldn't want to waste on that game after your review. Are there any games that devs that you won't take a risk on, Henry?
The most obvious example off the top of my head is Activision with, not a dev or a publisher, but I can't remember which one developed it, for Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Yeah. Promising this like real, gritty,
visceral
first-person shooter. Yeah, it's going to be real. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. I mean, if that's what I wanted it to be, which I know it isn't, that would be awesome, but it's a Call of Duty game. I know it's not what I want. And everything I saw, I think SkillUp put on his thumbnail or on his title exactly what I thought of it, just from my outside view from not having played it, that it pulls every punch that a game like Spec Ops: The Line throws. Like, it doesn't have any of the teeth it thinks it does or wants you to think it does. So I was like, I mean, I'm not going to bother with it.
I think in terms of AAA games and publishers, I think you got to take all the marketing material with a pinch of salt, a huge bucket load of salt. Even doesn't matter what they say the game is. That doesn't matter. We touched about it a little bit earlier with marketing on Cyberpunk, but I think they've done a really good job in correctly portraying what the game is going to play like. Whereas these other publishers, they don't care. They just want your money, and this is why they're just faceless corporations who just want to absorb as much of your money as possible. Because it doesn't matter what the gameplay is like to them. It only matters that they part you with your money. And I think in terms of Bethesda's the one that I can that I'm really going to take a wait and look approach now. Having recently replayed Fallout 76 and just looked at the trash pile that game is right now. They've brought in the update where this human NPCs have returned, and now the Brotherhood of Steel have returned in this latest update. I love Fallout. I love the game the game loop in all Fallout games. I absolutely despise Fallout 76. The game only exists to take your money. The netcode's so bad. I've got the fastest internet known to man. It's blistering, and I'm still getting internet spikes and pauses and all sorts of shit. It's just the worst experience, the worst game experience I've had in a Fallout game, and it's the newest Fallout game. It makes me really sad, and it makes me think that I can never trust what they were building it up to be before launch. Oh, we just want people to play with their friends and all this bullshit. Oh, do you need to get that door?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. He's not going.
I'll just keep waffling about Fallout 76. I just don't think it's something that I can ever trust again with Bethesda. We're talking Starfield will be coming up soon, so hopefully in the next couple of years we'll be able to see what Starfield's like. And I'll take a wait and see approach. Because they need to make changes to the game engine. Hopefully they updated that a little bit. Fallout 76 looks like trash. Coming off the back of playing The Outer Worlds, which is one of the best of that type of RPG game that you can play. Coming off the back of finishing that, jumping into Fallout 76, and then just seeing my arse with it again for like the third time. I don't even know why I wasted I know I could download it within like half an hour now, but my God, what a waste of time that was. I mean, I can't say enough bad things. Henry's just returned. I'm just still going on about Fallout 76. I'm just keeping this thing going. I mean, I've got enough to say about how shit that is. But yeah, I will definitely not take the risk on a Bethesda game again, because they've turned to the dark side over these last few years. They don't care about the gamers anymore. They don't care about the experience. They just want to take your money, and that's every AAA game. I've always got to put the extra research. I don't believe anything they say. Always get somebody who you trust to give their honest opinion of a game before you buy something. That's just general good advice. So thanks for all your questions, not just the quiz, Mr. EarthwormBen. We really appreciate that. Was there anything interesting? It wasn't a gaming PC by any chance, was it? Not another one.
Oh no, not another one. It's for my girlfriend, and when you buzz the doorbell for our flat, it keeps going until you open the door. Like, it won't ever stop. So wow, you've just got to go deal with it. I think my girlfriend's out on a run or something on her lunch.
That's got to be annoying if you're out the house.
Like, it will eventually stop, but it takes a long time. It will just go.
Just annoy hell out of your neighbours.
Oh, yeah, but we hear theirs all the time as well. Yeah. But it's not so bad.
Right, let's move on.
It's my girlfriend's fault. She's always ordering shit, and at this time of year, with my birthday and Christmas so close, and I think her mum's birthday is also kind of soonish.
Oh, don't get me started. It's like three packages. It's like 3 packages delivered every single day to my house, and from 3 different couriers. So I'm answering the door most of the time, and so I'm just taking in her parcels like throughout the day. It's basically my job is to accept the parcels because she orders so much shit.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on from whinging about our other halves to the next question.
Right. This is from the saint that is Metal Shark. Question for Henry. What is the next title you'll try to play co-op with Larissa? Is there a backlog game which might work, or a 2021 release you think may appeal? It's kind of a pain in the ass, because I do have to twist her arm a little bit, especially for the stuff that I think she will like more, but I'm not very good at selling it. So Children of Morta is currently on Game Pass, and that's one I think she could very easily pick up, because we can play it together. So in case you don't know, it's a roguelite dungeon crawler, like pixel art, very nice, and with multiple characters, all of different abilities and stuff. So I think that'll be great, but it's the kind of RPG element she doesn't really get, and I'm like, don't worry about that. If you don't care about it, I can just do it. It's fine. But I think the good choice there on the Game Pass, what it reminds me of, in fact, is Minecraft Dungeons. I think it's kind of a watered down version of Diablo, right? And in terms of getting her into, because my kids played that, and that's on Game Pass too. My kids played that with me, and they enjoyed it to a certain extent. So I suggest maybe taking a look at that too. Well, one I bought in a sale, like I think at the beginning of the year, something like that, ages ago, which we haven't even played yet, is what's it called? A Way Out, the EA one, which is random that EA made it.
That's a good game.
2-player co-op. You have to play it in co-op, and you have to play it with a real person. You can't do it with AI. And you're 2 people trying to escape a prison, and it's a kind of puzzle-solving thing. And it looks really, really cool. But I can't... I'm trying to convince her. She says yes, and then we don't do it for ages. But we are going to play it because it looks really awesome. Yeah. Really, really creative, original idea.
It's quite an interesting game because it's quite cinematic too. So it's kind of that narrative-driven movie experience, but that you're playing with somebody else. So it's a good one for a
and you can play it online and like separately, but the whole thing is in split screen, so you can always see what your partner can see.
Yeah.
So I think it's just really interesting. So I'm hoping we'll be able to give it a go.
That's a good one.
There is a follow-up question, which is specifically for you. Are you still considering getting Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, the augmented reality Switch RC game? And if so, are there any grand ambitions for track creation in the house?
I'm not. The short answer, because it's pretty expensive, right? It's very expensive. It looks awesome, but it's not something that I would just invest in and then just use once or twice, and then the kids be maybe, they've got so...
And you need 2 cars.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, where
you need to invest in it properly. I mean, when I was a kid, right, we used to have remote control cars, and we had this like dirt patch in the garden where I'd map out on a piece of paper how I wanted the track to be, and we'd go and dig it all out, and we'd like make this awesome track for our remote control cars. It's something I would really enjoy if I was a kid. However, I'm an adult now, and my kids are both girls, and I know that shouldn't affect anything, but they probably wouldn't enjoy it if I had a boy, and I blame my wife. There's some inner psyche issues there that I've got to deal with, but yeah, it's basically because I haven't got any boys. I think I've overshared there, haven't I? Right, let's move on quickly to the next question. Thanks for the question, Mr. Metal Shark. Cloney99, with all the delays and announcements and whatnot, what movies are you most excited for in the next couple of months? Personally, I want to see the new Black Widow movie and finally get my fix of MCU. Want to see the Snyder Cut, and I can barely wait for Wonder Woman any longer, despite the horrible cheetah looks from the trailer. Also, maybe we'll finally get around to watch The Mandalorian. So movies, Henry. The Mandalorian isn't a movie, so if you're opening the door to TV shows, I can talk about that. But first up, Henry.
All right, we've mentioned the word Mandalorian, so people might talk about it in the comments. No spoilers.
No.
By the time
I've not seen
this episode comes out, a new episode will have come out. Because currently it's Thursday. The episode will be out to patrons on Friday, to the public on Sunday. So don't fucking spoil anything. No. But so just as a warning.
Yeah.
I'm currently up to date as of now.
Right.
But I'm yet to watch this week's episode because it's currently not out yet. But it will be. Yeah. So warning out of the way. Black Widow, yes, really up for that. So Black Widow was supposed to come out in May. This May, the one that was months ago. Then it was supposed to be November, and then the whole MCU, well, Disney's structure is they all like knock onto each other like a set of dominoes. So they've all moved back. I think Eternals was meant to be in November when Widow was in May, so that's all moved. Up for that, I was excited for it. I'm kind of less excited for it because I feel like it's been so long for an MCU movie, and I feel like this one, it's not going to be the big reopening for the MCU. Obviously, if you don't like the MCU, like you don't give a shit about the MCU movies, which is totally fine, but this is going to mean nothing to you. And I feel like to kick off the next phase, they need to, ideally, they would have had a bit more of a go of it. Because even before lockdown and everything, it was kind of a wait between Spider-Man and Widow. I think it was about a year, maybe 9 months, something like that. So I am excited for it, but I'm tentative. Snyder Cut, I'm interested in. I'm not sure I'd use the word excited, but I'm interested in because it is an unprecedented thing. So that's the Justice League, came out a few years ago, was shit. Because they had swapping directors and a few meddling behind the scenes thing, photoshopping a moustache out, all kinds of problems. But now the original director has teamed up with the original cast and everyone involved to re-release it, called the Snyder Cut. I think it's going to be a 4-hour block or 4 parts, like kind of like a mini-series for the Justice League, with abandoned plot lines put back in and deleted scenes and this, that, and the other. It's meant to be the real version and kind of revitalize the DC movies.
Yep.
But the Justice League movie was shit. The Batman vs Superman movie was also shit. So it's not, Snyder's DC run isn't that exemplary. So I'm really not expecting big things. But I'm interested in it. I think it's an unprecedented thing for it to come out like this and such a fan, response.
Yeah.
So I think it could be cool. Wonder Woman, Wonder. I've not really paid much attention to Wonder Woman because I'm already on that train. Like I've barely paid attention to any of the media around it. So I'm like, I'll watch Wonder Woman when it comes out. It's meant to be coming out on Christmas Day now, so I'm not going to watch it then, but I'll watch it at some point. Yeah. What's out? The Mandalorian. If you haven't watched The Mandalorian, watch The Mandalorian. It's
awesome.
It lacks a real story, like a overarching narrative. And we get like the whole. I've said it 100 times. The show's a fucking video game. He does a quest. He gets a thing. He does a side quest. He gets a thing. He literally will get a new bit of armor or a weapon or a gadget or something. It's cool, but it needs a bit more actual plot over the top. Other than that, it is brilliant. It looks gorgeous. Yeah. It's good Star Wars, like it's Star Warsy. And we're getting a little bit more proper plot. So hopefully we get a bit more in tomorrow's episode, which you may have already seen by the time you're watching this.
So, I mean...
That was quite a long answer, I'm afraid.
Yeah. The things I'm looking forward to, I think... I don't watch a lot of movies, I'll be honest. So it's like TV shows. And what TV show am I looking forward to? There's one and I just can't think of it right now. But I can talk about stuff I've been watching. Have you seen The Queen's Gambit?
Oh no, my girlfriend watched it recently, so I kind of had like a little eye on it every now and then. I was like, that looks really good, but I haven't got around to it. It's
been talked about. It's about chess, right? So everyone's like,
But it sounds super dull.
But then everyone else who's seen it are like, you should watch it. It's good. It's so well acted. It's so well written. It's so well made. It takes you on the journey of this prodigy, right? She discovers she's got this. She's an orphan. She discovers she's got this amazing talent for chess, and then you go on a journey with her. And I know it's spine tingling at points. It really is worth watching, and it's one of those series that you won't get a sequel to it. It's just one self-enclosed story, and then you're done. I think it's 7 episodes.
Yeah. I love a good miniseries.
And there's no filler. There's no like, they're just dragging this out to make it to 10 episodes, and then they're gonna leave you on a cliffhanger. It's not like that. It's a proper stand-up Netflix series, the way that Netflix should be doing it. And I think I can't say any better things enough good things about that show. So I definitely recommend you watch it. So
this one just popped into my head. Again, it's a Netflix show. I'm pretty sure the series 2 of The Witcher comes out next year. The Witcher,
yeah, this one's look out.
Which the first series has plenty of its own problems, but I'm excited for that. But recently, so me and my girlfriend went and had a bit of time away in the Lake District, and around the same sort of time, her parents were also away around different parts of the country, and they completely stumbled across where they were filming part of The Witcher Series 2. It's just a big fancy waterfall that looks kind of like a fairy tale, just on location set. And the crew and stuff were just like, yeah, you can be here, but don't go through yet because we're filming, and just try and keep quiet and everything. They had no idea what The Witcher was, no idea who Henry Cavill was.
What?
So they sent this to my girlfriend, and so there's this show called The Witcher. And they're for Netflix. It's meant to be quite a big thing. And she showed it to me. I was like, "You take the piss. Why the fuck are we not there? Why are we not there?" Like,
on the so Netflix. Awesome. They're making it for the Netflix.
Yeah. They didn't really see anyone. And if they did, they would have been in like waterproofs under the waterfalls. And then they take them off, shoot the scene, then put it back on, and go back into their trailer or whatever. So I was very frustrated. But yeah, Witcher Series 2 should be cool.
That's cool. Right, you're up next.
Okay. Durlock Sergio just wants to drop a quick question. How was your birthday, Henry? Did you get anything gaming related? We don't want to know if you get any underwear with an elephant's trunk. Oh, elephant's trunk, I bloody wish. So, gaming related. Well, the PC is kind of birthday present-esque, and I'm kind of thinking the monitor, I justified spending about 300 quid on it as a present to myself. I didn't get a single video game. I didn't really ask for any, so that's not a surprise. Like from my mum or anything, she's normally up my arse. Like, "Oh, do you sure you want a game or anything?" I'm like, "Well, no, not really. I've got everything covered." It's not really, but on the topic of pants, my girlfriend, I didn't know that this wasn't a surprise either. We had talked about it.
Since you're talking about pants.
Well, yeah. She made me effectively a advent calendar for pants. I've got 24 little pouches of pants. And
wow.
There's a different one for each day.
That's amazing.
And they're currently like hung up along a shelf, and it's great.
So you've got like 24 different G-strings to wear, one each day?
Absolutely. They're all...
this is what you should be buying her, dude.
If there's not a leopard print, furry, mankini type thing, I'm going to be gutted. That's
going to be a Borat, isn't there?
Yeah, it's got to be. But yeah, so now I don't have to do any laundry for pants anyway. For a good long time, and it's great.
That's a great person.
And I literally then sent a message to my mum being like, with a picture of all of these pouches of pants. Please, for the love of God, I know it's what mums do. You get pants and socks. Do not get me any pants at Christmas. Socks, fair game. Totally fine. Do whatever you want. But don't get me any bloody pants.
Great present.
So far, I'm on day 3. It's a pretty good set of pants.
Right, yeah. And a fresh pair of pants every day. I mean, that's living the dream. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's move on to the final question of this week. This is from there was another one, I think. I'll just have to check that in a sec, but Ravaged, it's a pretty lengthy one. Hi guys, first a big thank you for keeping me entertained while I've been in hospital the past few weeks. That alone is the reason for the increase to £10 a month. There you go. Ravaged, thank you again for your increase in pledge this month. He continues, having come home to an Xbox Series X and cancelled PlayStation 5, thanks Amazon, I've been the luckiest unlucky guy I know. First world problems, eh? But all this rubbish about Sony's great launch lineup has left me scratching my head. Demon's Souls, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Bugsnax. Why does the media keep going on about this, and why is it so one-sided? I know Xbox did not have any super big titles, but these games are not much more than remasters, something Microsoft has done to a load of games for free. Gears 5, Forza, and Ori all upgraded, and all look great and had a lot of work put into them. All great games, but Microsoft did not charge £70 like Demon's Souls did. I heard the complaints of people saying I just paid £450 and got nothing to play on it, but I'm like, so if you buy a £700 new graphics card for your PC and don't get new games straight away, your older games play better. I totally get your point of view here, and this is exactly why I kind of raised the question the other week. It's like, you don't need, like, you got a new console, like you can play your old games on it, and I kind of got a drubbing in the by yourself, Henry, and by the commenters, like you need exclusives, you need games to be able to play on it. It was like, you can play all your older games, but I guess that's coming from my PC.
I'm not paying 450 quid to play a game I've already got.
No, I get that. I get that.
I'll pay like a little bit for it, like if 200 quid for a PS5 or something in 4 years.
But coming from a PC gaming mentality, it's quite a common thing to do. Just upgrade your hardware and just play the same games but better. So I think that's a bit of different perspectives there. So his question is, I want to know why you think Xbox gets so much hate and Sony gets a pass from media. You guys are defo excluded as you shit on everyone in fair amounts, to be fair. Can I just say that I'm not a Xbox or PlayStation fanboy. I have been into the UK. I have been both in the UK gets more PS5 stock. I don't know what that means. I've been both.
I will have both once the UK gets more PS5s in stock.
Yeah, thanks for that, Henry. But having worked on Gears Tactics, I might have a stronger lean one way than the other. I didn't know that. That's a nice nugget to just leave there. Just like, I worked on Gears Tactics, by the way. Keep up the great work, guys, as always. Why do you think Xbox gets so much hate and Sony gets a pass from the media? Me, I personally think it seems true. It seems that PlayStation, people look at PlayStations with rose-tinted glasses, and I don't know. It's Xbox is it's easy to criticize Xbox because there's no games, there's no exclusives, there's no Spider-Man, there's no God of War, there's no Days Gone, there's no Last of Us. It's easy to point at a certain game and say, look, this console's got this other console hasn't got that. It's easy to criticize Microsoft because they don't have these big hitters like PlayStation do. Why do we think it gets so much hate? I don't know whether hate is the correct term, but I think it's criticised. They're sooner to criticise it because it's easier to, I guess, because I don't know, it's easier to
easier target.
Yeah, that's what I say.
don't know about that many outlets. Maybe I've just not seen it, but I don't know about that many outlets saying Sony's great launch lineup. I mean, I think I've seen quite a lot saying both have quite a weak launch lineup, but Sony is better in terms of like exclusives, because they do have Miles Morales, although you can play that on PS4, Bugsnax, although you can play that on PS4, and Sackboy, although you can play that on PS4. Demon's Souls is the only one that is only on PS5, and that's a remake. So all of those exclusives have caveats, but Microsoft doesn't even really have any of those, which is its problem for a lot of people, including me. As I've said, like, there's no reason to get an Xbox at this point. I'm sure later down the line, perfectly good reason when like a new Gears comes out. I'm a huge Gears fan, or Halo, although that game really looks like it's a shit show right now based on all the problems behind the scene. But yeah, there is definitely a bias. Well, bias in the media. Gosh, who knew? I've had lengthy exchanges with my dad about this recently. It's been a real hoot and a half. It's all political. He's a grumpy old man, so he really goes off on it.
Right.
And no one, we never give him an inch because he won't shut up. But I've accepted that I've fully opened the can of worms now. But yeah, I think it's two parts. I think most people, would say that PlayStation has won the last console generation. More success, more units sold, more critically acclaimed games, more popular games. Virtually every metric you can say Sony's won. So I think a lot of journalists are gamers, so they also agree, they share that opinion, and then it ends up going into their work. But also, most people like PlayStation over Xbox based on last gen, they're going to twist their content around that because viewers are more likely to engage with it. Like, if you look at Sony's great launch, more people are going to click on that because more people like Sony, versus look at Microsoft's great launch, fewer people like Xbox, so fewer people will click on that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
It makes sense. Makes sense in my little brain anyway.
We are but simpletons here. But anyway, thanks for your question. There's no R in question. We agree there is a pro Sony bias, and I'm always accused of being a Sony pony, but it's not my fault. Sony does better games. But we do have one final question, which I've brought over. I think it's the very last one. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
From Cloney. Hey, with your new internet, Gaz, are you planning on streaming again? Or is Twitch dead to you? I'd understand with the adpocalypse on Twitch these days and all. Just curious.
I don't know. Twitch was a thing we used to do when there was a few of us, and we'd have a good time together doing it. I think streaming, I'd have to do it on my own now. So it's a bit more of an undertaking. I wouldn't rule it out. I've been considering it, in fact, but I'd probably not choose Twitch, because Twitch... There's such a limited amount of people watching on Twitch. I think if we were to stream it, it might be on YouTube, and I don't know. I'd see if Henry was available, and I'd get someone to bounce off of rather than just do it on my own, because I think streaming on your own is... I mean, everyone goes shit for streamers. Oh, you don't do anything, you get paid for it. It's not easy, man. It really isn't easy. I don't know. It doesn't come natural to me, but I wouldn't rule it out. I've definitely been thinking about it. Maybe I'll be brave enough to do it at some point, but I probably wouldn't choose Twitch, because we'd probably make it better. Be able to generate content better. Be exposed to more people on YouTube, because there's so many more people watching. I might, get in Cyberpunk and playing through that a little bit. I might decide to do that. We'll see. It depends, because I'm always very skeptical that anyone would give a shit. Anyone would watch at all. Because who wants to watch us?
That's what I think. I often think, maybe I should start streaming, even if it's just nothing to do with PG, just as a personal thing, just for a bit of fun. It often dawns on me, my internet could probably handle it. Although since lockdown, it's got way fucking worse. But that's because everyone's using it all the time. But one of my big things is, if I'm playing a game, I want to play the fucking game. Yeah. I don't want to have to be entertaining and have to be on and managing chat and everything. So I don't know. I wouldn't want something like streaming to get in the way of the way I like to play, which is on my own, in my own little space, looking like a fucking troll, covered in
your pants,
crumbs.
in your 10 pairs of pants, or however many pairs you got on.
Exactly. I've got Space Invaders pants on today, so it's appropriate.
Or in your Borat pants, just nothing else.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, you know.
Oh no, but if I did that, then we get banned because of my nips would probably be on show. Can't be having that. It's against the rules.
Well, there you go. There's the hazards of streaming these days. You can't do Borat pants. I'm not fucking interested. Right, there we go. Thanks very much, Chloe, for your question, and thanks to everybody else for all your questions as well. If I didn't get around to thanking you, I do apologise that I'm thanking you now. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next segment, which we've kind of altered. It was historically triggered fanboy comment of the week, but we've had to alter it. And this week, we've got the Pretty Good Gaming fanboy of the week. I've got a couple. They're just nice comments that I'm going to brush my ego with because they're being friendly, and that's it. Like they're not particularly like thought-provoking or like many talking points like a good trigger fanboy. Trigger fanboy, I think the advantage of them is that they're so triggered they often leave a paragraph. Yeah. So there's lots of stuff to break down. But these are just a couple simple sentences nice ones,
that say nice
things. We all
things.
need a bit of validation every now and again. So don't hold it against us. We all need a bit of a pat on the back. So
yeah. So fortunately, I've got two here, which are kind of along the same lines, and it is on which video was it? Cyberpunk 2077, surprisingly good on last gen. Squeenix President explains Avengers failure, and the Golden Joysticks, which was on the 27th, which I think was Friday. I think it was Friday. So, first person here, the Yorkshire Bob, quoting me, "A faint fart in front of the in-laws. Bravo. Talk about painting a metaphor. Genius." And then I commented back saying I was actually quite proud of that one. I did think it was quite fun. Yeah.
That was good.
So, yeah, thank you very much. I did like that one. And then, where's my next one? Oh, this is from Cronzexus. "Bro, I like your writing. I hope you will be on this channel for a long time to come." Thank you. I like writing. That's what I started doing before I thrust in front of the camera over 2 years ago now.
It takes a bit of getting used to being in front of camera and hosting and just seeing the creative process from start to finish. It's one thing being a writer, it's another thing being a presenter, and it's another thing doing both, right? So I think over passage of time, you can clearly see how you've improved your craft, and you're starting to come out of yourself now. You're starting to if I can pile on to this legitimate
mountain of praise.
There you go. Yeah, I think, Henry, you are doing such a great job these days. I do want to take the time to say that these guys aren't unfounded in their praise of you. You're doing a great job on behalf of me and everyone watching. It's nice to see you coming, you blossoming, let's say, and becoming the content creator we always knew you could be.
Oh boy, I need to get on a t-shirt. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Ah, there we go.
That's good. Does something happen now?
Right, I had the notification from Zoom cut across my screen saying internet problems, but I could hear everything you were saying. I think it just stopped broadcasting.
Oh, maybe you're all right on your side, so that's good.
I think we're okay now.
Okay, and on that note, yeah, go on, carry on.
That's it. I mean, you just flooded me with praise, and the internet couldn't take it. It couldn't take it. I'm used to getting so much abuse from
literally shut down the internet. Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is what happens when we throw out the triggered fanboy and start patting each other on the back. The internet can't deal with it.
It's a conspiracy from the academic elites that control the world.
So on that note, on this Anne Glada Frank says, "What's wrong with your computers, dude? Seriously, you're like at 8 FPS in like last week." We did have a bit of a problem.
That was bad. That was bad. And it just didn't record properly or broadcast properly. It should be fine today. Hopefully.
And another point as well, makes another good point. Oh, and Shenmue, talking about the quiz last week where I was questioning the validity of the answer. Shenmue had successful sales with 1.2 million on release, but budget went way overboard. So the correct answer is definitely the budget. It was the biggest video game budget for a long time. So I guess you put it in those terms, that that response is justified. But I will always argue that I was right because I'm one of those people who just can never be wrong.
Well, on the topic of Gaz being wrong and needing correcting, this is on last week's podcast, I think. Yes. From James Denton. Simply scalping A Wonderful Christmas Time is clearly the best option.
Oh, you couldn't wait to read that one, could you? You couldn't.
I could not. It's right at the top of the video as well. It's the top comment on my screen, so it's perfect.
Yeah, I'm sure you liked and favorited that one, didn't you? Anyway.
No.
So I've got another comment. Another nice comment. This is a bit of a theme this week. Random Gamer 790 states, love your content. Every person I've recommended to your channel over the years still watches to this day. Never give up! ! There you go. We're not going to give up as long as you keep watching. Yeah. So long as we still afford to pay the bills, we won't give up. That's the short and curlies of it. That is literally it. If we can't afford it, we might have to get day jobs. But otherwise, exactly. Back to doing factory work for me, I guess. If you can, as long as you guys support us watching and liking and heading over to Patreon, we'll continue. That's a simple fact. We'll be able to continue. Have you got any more? I've got a couple more.
Yeah, I've got one here. It wouldn't be fair to just correct you, so I've got a correction on me. But this is how you do a correction. It's clear and it's polite, and it tells me why I'm wrong. It's not an I'm actually at all. It's just. Here's information. Oh, just so you didn't know. So this is from _techno. And it is from, again, the video about CDPR being Cyberpunk 2077 being surprisingly good on last gen. Henry, as I can imagine you'll be talking about how much CDPR makes from Cyberpunk 2077, etc. in the future, the Polish, so it looks like an L it's got a line through it, but I don't know how you say that letter.
The currency.
L.
Zloty.
/L is pronounced like a W in English, so it looks like Zloty, but with a line through the L, but it's actually Złoty. Love the daily triples. Keep it up. So it's not Zloty, it's Złoty, and it is a W, not a V, because often in Polish and stuff, Russian and all the Eastern European languages, they can be a bit confusing, but this man says it's a W, so thank you very much. That's how you tell someone they're doing it wrong.
Złoty.
It is Polish Złoty.
Polish Złoty. We've been correct in the past to tell us to pronounce it Zloty, so I don't know, maybe you can batter out between yourselves, all those Poles among you.
Yeah, it's up to you. Maybe it is Złoty as well, if it's a W.
Who knows? We'll just keep guessing. So on the topic of you, again, Henry, another nice comment here. Meliodas Sama comments, Henry looks great with a beard. and not only that, Mickey Moose replies, with his beard and new lighting, Henry looks handsome as hell.
Well, this light is great. I mean, it's very intense because it doesn't have a shade or anything. It's just a bulb there, and if I turn it off, it's just kind of flat. But on, I've got this warm glow.
Turn it off again.
Hang on, where's the button?
Nah, not doing it for me. Turn it on.
Is it that much of a difference?
Oh my God, the handsomeness when you turn that on, Henry. You're so handsome. I'm not sure it makes much of a difference, but Mickey Moose reckons. Mickey Moose reckons it does.
Oh, thank you. Right, I've got one here. A regular commenter who has had, on this one occasion, a mild change of heart. Jason Mitchell, who you may remember from other comments telling us off for being late to stories, but only ever saying we're late, never that we're early or beat anyone else. But this time, this is odd. You guys have beat any other news reporter I had. I'm glad about this. Hated when this channel got no attention. So this is on the Warcraft 3 Reforged. Still isn't what is promised, and it's barely a news story, really, because it's just me stealing it from Reddit, and I didn't even acknowledge that in the video. It's a guy just listing all of the problems that are still there and all of the shit that still hasn't been fixed. Yeah. But, credit to you, Jason Mitchell, because you do have a go at us when we're late. I'm pretty sure you've been a triggered fanboy before. I think you were literally like last week. Yeah, because I don't. You say we're late to shit. Often it's because of X, Y, and Z. It's not just because other stuff is going. We're not just late. It happens on a Friday and I can't record till Monday or something like that. But you admit in this one case,
Yeah.
we beat everyone else.
Credit,
No one else is
credit where it's due.
this once, even though fucking all the time I'm beating everyone else, but I never get any
If
credit.
this doesn't make the list of the top,
And watch them get more views on it when they pick it up.
yeah, no, definitely one of the greatest comebacks of all time. Henry being late to being first, right? And how much must he value not value all the work that we create? Just because it's not been in time for him. It's like the only thing he values with his news consumption on YouTube, whatever, is the time at which it's delivered, how quickly it's delivered.
It's not who gets who does the best
Exactly.
job.
Not how well you portray the story, how in depth you go, how balanced you are. None of that cares. It just matters whether you're first. But there you go. Thanks for the comments. I think I'm done now. That's a
nice one to finish on. I did have another one, but it's just kind of whatever. That's a nice one to end on.
All right then. So with that, let's move on to the next segment, which is the bad dad joke of the week. Okay, Tons has contributed today's bad dad joke of the week, and he says the following: I was in a liquor store and the owner asked me, "Do you need help?" I said, "Yes, but I'll have a bottle of whiskey instead." Ba-dum.
I mean, it's just the same thing. It'll care for you more than any other bit of help can.
Should have said Henry's in a liquor store asking for a bottle of whiskey.
Yep.
So is that enough for you? Or do you want another one? I'm doing it.
I mean, it'd be weird to do just one. Okay. You got to do a couple at least.
What's it called when you tickle a man to death by accident?
I don't know. What's it called when you tickle a man to death by accident?
Manslaughter.
Man's laughter.
Man's laughter. Oh, man's laughter, right. Okay, next up, the very last. My wife, you need to do more chores around the house. Me, can we change the subject? My wife, okay, more chores around the house need to be done by you. That's not even a joke, but...
yeah, that sounds pretty familiar.
Well, there you go, Henry. Some life lessons there from today's last joke, and that kind of concludes the bad dad jokes of the week, and leaves us one last segment, which is the ending segment, which is where I just say thank you everyone for watching. And if you have watched this long into the podcast and you want to see us continue, head to Patreon. Honestly, can't say enough times that we need your help. Patreon.com/prettygoodgaming or channel memberships here on YouTube. Really, really appreciate everyone who supports us. And there's nothing else to do but to say thank you for watching. Thank you to Henry for participating. We'll see you again in the next video. Until then, bye for now. Pooh!